Hello. Oh, this is weird. I've never used this computer before for video. So today I'm going over the different cognitive functions of the ENFP personality type. First one is NE, extroverted intuition. So that is it explores like realms of possibilities in the outside world. Perfect example of that. Tonight I wrote a paper, or it was technically a letter, but the assignment was due at like midnight. I got it at midnight 01, but the time zone's in a different, like an hour behind. So hopefully I'll still get credit. But I think a good example of that is I'm looking at the paper now, and I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I used 9 different sources to, and I integrated all of them into the paper. So I basically took a large variety of outside information and streamlined, integrated it into a whole. So that's kind of an example. I could go into like personal examples of what it's like. For example, imagining what would look like a flow chart of positive or perhaps negative outcomes, say, of a romantic relationship. Oh, there's my boy Celsius. Had a long day today. I started at 6:40 in the morning. I actually showed up to work late today, which I usually don't do. Um, yeah, and I called him. I'm trying to be like, responsible. I said, hey, I'm running really late. Well, not really. I was like 10 minutes late. But, um, yeah, I started really early today. I don't even know what happened. I think I pushed snooze. Okay. Introverted feeling, function 2. Let's talk about that for a moment. It's a tough function. Introverted feeling is more of a process than an actual feeling. Like, you don't say, I'm feeling introverted feeling. No, it's like it's an evaluative process. Somebody said something that didn't set right with me, so I got to sit down and think about it for a while. Then maybe a few hours later, I'll come to it. Not expressing outside emotion very well. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I feel like this. Unless somebody asks me, I'm honest. But what's another example? Yeah, it's a value. It's a code for which you use to determine whether something sits well with you or not. Bullying is a big one for me. Anytime I like see or hear somebody get bullied, like sometimes I feel something, and then I usually will say something because that violates, my internal code of beliefs or ethics. Okay, what's the third one? Extroverted thinking. That's one I don't know a whole lot about, but something I have, like, say, if I used to have to do math, to crunch numbers, or if I have to kind of sort of lay down the law, like read the riot act on somebody. Sit back, relax a little bit. Long ass day. It's almost 1:30, and I started at 6:30. I did take a nap though, but I woke up in a weird dimension mentally when I got up from my nap. So the TE, extroverted thinking. So like being really concise. So this video already sounds actually more focused, probably thanks to this. Sandia, sabor de sandia. It's watermelon flavored Celsius. Ordering facts, getting information straight, logical, rational, that sort of thing. Función 4. A cuarto función. Fourth function would be introverted sensing. So from what I understand, that's like memory, and it's a shadow function, meaning I'm not really conscious of it. And that's things like a very short memory. Somebody was really nice to me. I hung out with somebody, had a great freaking time. They like bought me a fucking meal, I don't know what. And then like I don't hear from them in like 3 days or 4 days, and that memory is just evaporated. That's what I think that's like, is having just kind of also poor organizational skills. Like I have, for example, right now in my apartment, I have like boxes and boxes of fitness equipment. They're like partially open because I want to play with it, but I haven't like assembled it yet. So yeah. Hmm. I have a dresser that I haven't even been using because I just put the clothes on top of the dryer. Sort of, I think it's like sensory, like using your five senses. This is not right. This has to be here. This cap has to be screwed on. Formatting papers. That's kind of a shadow thing, and it's like kind of. I almost feel like I'm drinking through a coffee straw when I concentrate on one of those tasks. So, as a recap, ENFP 4 functions are extrovert intuition, which is again the dominant function. It's grabbing ideas from the outside world. Like, as for example, today, earlier at work, I had like about 6 or 7 different books I was just reading on different e-readers. I go to different websites to try to maximize the amount of previews I could get, the amount of pages, and I guess the publishers aren't coordinated enough to take out pieces. They don't give them the same one. Like some of the Google ones, for example, Google Books is a little more generous with their previews than say Amazon. Amazon's cheap. I'm actually getting away from Amazon, which I like their Kindle stuff and the Prime because it's convenient, but just because it's convenient, I realized it's not the best option. So, like I actually bought something straight from the publisher. I don't know. I guess I assume because it's Amazon, it's cheap. It's part of their ethos, I guess, is value. But the freaking publisher at 20% off. So thanks, publisher. But anyway, to recap, extroverted intuition is like grabbing different ideas and kind of coalescing, taking them, sorting them, filtering them, and using them, hopefully. The idea generator, that's what all the posts and shit say. Okay. Recap, introverted feeling, that's an internal evaluative process, meaning, how do I feel about something? Oh, yeah. And, like, again, and what I read in this one book that said it's like, it's like the archetypical, you feel, because it's introverted, it's an internal process, you feel the, that's the silly thing about, like, introvert and extrovert. I mean, it's all in your brain, like, that's a separate topic. But, shit, where was I? I have to wake up. It says 1:33. I'm going to be waking up at 6:30. So I'll be waking up in 5 hours. Well, not really. I won't be going to sleep for probably another at least 30 to 45 minutes. I hate telling myself what to do because I had my friend over and he was saying, well, I don't sleep well if I tell myself I have to get into bed. And I said, well, a simple problem to that is don't tell yourself to go to bed. Just don't. Because I've found the extra little hour of like mental anguish doesn't really make a difference, especially if you're on a suboptimal sleep schedule to begin with, right? Whew. So, introverted feeling, yeah, that's kind of tough. I get my feelings hurt. I'm not going to show it very much. But again, you feel the archetypes of feeling. So, say you get you feel sadness. You don't just feel your own sadness. You feel the archetypical world of sadness beneath your conscious threshold. It's very strong feeling. Which, I mean, they're only subjective ratings anyway, but I know my own experience and, can tell kind of when I talk to people how they experience things, like, how people experience the different events. Okay, extroverted thinking, I see that as like math, like just being able to crunch numbers. I'm actually pretty good at math. When I try, I could have gotten I don't know if I could have gotten a math degree, because when I got abstract, I was starting to hit the mathematical ceiling. And my head hurt. Pain in the ass. Whatever at ceilings, there's a glass ceiling, a lavender ceiling. So we got to come up with the math, numeric, arithmetic ceiling. Okay, and just being really logical. Like if I have to, explain something to somebody, I can do step by step and seem like not like all over, not scattered. And then 4, introverted sensing, that says things like memory. Also going to be holding on to past experiences. I do this a lot. I struggle with flexibility. What's a good example? Well, if I'm around somebody and they have a bad reaction to something I say, I'll pay special attention to not say that particular thing again, because that left a burnt thing in my memory, and that's such a undeveloped. It's probably, I read somewhere it's like a 3 or 4 equivalent, like a 3 or 4-year-old developed in that area. Development, meaning say like a young child doesn't have a very good concept of like what's really going on, doesn't have the sensibilities. I guess, I mean, conscious or rational reflection, I get it, but like that's my automatic response is remembering specific events and not really seeing the other things that could influence it. Maybe my friend was in a bad freaking mood, or maybe it was nothing I did, but again, those memory points just stick. So that's a bit of the ENFP function list. Yeah, comment, subscribe, ask me questions if you have any. And looks like I'm gonna have a short night's sleep. Peace.